Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. It's Friday. We're going to do a little bit of resin casting. So I got some, I think I mentioned it on Wednesday. We're going to do a little bit of hodgepodge. I wasn't sure exactly what to do. I didn't have anything specific to like test out. But I do have, I don't know if you guys remember, we cast some faux burls a while ago. And we had this one where we kind of made it silver and purple. And then it's clear on the other side with a little bit of glitter. And so I really wanted to get this thing going. It doesn't look very amazing right now, but I think it might be kind of cool, especially like as a sphere or something where it's like there's mountains on both sides. It'll be kind of neat, I think. So we'll do that one today. And then we also have another banksia pod. I had that cut up and I never cast it or did anything with it. So let's let's cast up another banksia pod. And then we'll see what time it is. I have things I'm trying to do. I'm actually doing some testing right now on something. And so we'll see what time it is, and if we have anything else, I also have a little bit of a bucket of some extras that we might be able to cast as well. So it should be kind of fun, a little bit of a hodgepodge today, but I think some pretty cool castings that we're going to make. So real quick, I'm going to toss these guys in the oven. Now there shouldn't really be any moisture, but if you live in a humid area, even for, this is resin, this is Alumilite, even for stuff like that, you may have surface moisture, so it's always a good idea to toss things that you're going to cast in the oven just to, for a few minutes, just to kind of flash off any moisture, surface moisture that might be on there. And it also just kind of heats up the stuff so that I don't know. I have a theory, I don't know, I don't have any like experimental data to show you or anything like that, but it just seems like resins heat up anyway, and so if they're sitting right next to something that's significantly cooler than the temperature that it's exotherming at when it's curing in there, it seems like it may want to suck away from it a little bit. So if you heat that up, everything's all nice and happy, I think. So that's just my own little theory about all that stuff. So let's stop real quick. I got a couple of announcements, a couple things to show you guys, and then we'll get rolling on this. So, but first I wanted to stop and see there's a lot of people here. 32 right now, it says on my little screen. And Chad's already super chatted. Thank you for the super chat. So you're going to be, I think we'll do the banksia pod thing first. So we'll make some pen blanks out of that. Then we'll do the burl chunk, and we'll have to come up with something to put on top of it. Now, this is a case where I would recommend, this one's going to be probably pretty simple. And actually, how about this? Since Chad was first, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to let Chad handle, he's going to get to pick what we do with the burl, actually. So other people, if you guys want to super chat and get in on the pen blanks with the banksia pod colors, do that now. But Chad's going to be all over the burl. But the one thing that I'm going to say is it needs to be transparent because we want to be able to see, because of what I'm trying to do with this is it's see-through on the bottom, and I want what we cast on top to be see-through, so it's kind of this weird like line of color with bumps in it on both sides that are a little bit different. So that's the one thing, it needs to be see-through. We could add a little bit of tint to the resin so we can color it, so it'll be up to you. We can either go clear or tint it. Now we did put, let's see here, I'll have to look this up in my notes for sure, but we did put glitter down like in the clear resin on there, like in the mass of this thing. So we can maybe add some of that. So I'm going to let Chad figure that out, though. It'll be up to him to figure out that one since he was number one in the thing. So let me stop real quick and let's see who's all here. Man, people have been here for a while, it looks like. So Everett and Doug. I wanted to say Doug. I didn't get to say. I didn't see exactly what was going on. I didn't hear about the injury. So I hope that you heal up quick and you don't have too much pain and suffering. I know that you're already kind of doing that, but hopefully that'll subside a little bit quick. So I really sorry to hear about that accident, the injury. That doesn't sound, that sounds horrible. So feeling for you, man. Let's see here. Who else is here? Kim's here. Kim was first in the chat, it looks like. And Jen's here, of course. And Dominic, and of course Chad's here. Let's see, who else? We got Everett is here. And Melvin's here. Colormeister Magic, nice. Sweet. And Jean's here. Let's see, I'm just scrolling down. Christina's here. Nice. And Mark's here. Nice. How's it going, Mark? And Frank's here. Nice. Good to see you, buddy. Who else? Who else? Is there anybody else that I missed? If I missed you, I apologize. I'm kind of scrolling a little bit fast. The little icons kind of pop out, and that's what I'm kind of looking at. Who else? I just saw Mert's here, I think. Didn't I? Yeah, there's Mert. How's it going? And Jim. Sweet. Wow. I'm still scrolling. Exotic Tones, and Brian's here, and Ray. Sweet. And Jeff. Awesome. So, let's see here. Yeah, don't walk a marathon, man. It's not going to help anything. You got to get healed up, then you can do the marathon. All right, so let's switch to this other view. I'm going to show you, for anybody that didn't see or just wants to re-see the pen that I turned. Let's see, which one do I want to do here? This one, I think. Here is the pen that we turned on Wednesday. I'm going to turn this thing around so I can just look at that. Pretty cool looking pen. We got a little bit of detail lines in there, although I don't know what happened here. I kind of sanded through one of the detail lines. It's like it was kind of a little bit off. Oops, which way am I going here? Oh, there we go. Everything's backwards. There we go. Put the thing right. But pretty cool, and then it's a screw top and a roller ball. And so this is the Stark pen kit. There's a link to where you can get the pen kit. I just got it from Turner's Warehouse. In the description of this video, or the replay of this, making this. But one thing I wanted to mention about this, so I had a little extra cutoff from that blank, and I mean, seriously, I'm pretty sure that as long as I can figure out what this thread pitch is, I think we can make a cap out of the same material. Where's the camera? There it is. Maybe a little tough, but I think I can do it. I think I could maybe figure something like that out. So I don't know if I'll do that on stream or if I'll just try to, that's something that I might have to kind of just do on my own, figure out. But I thought that'd be cool. Then at that point, not only do you have a closed end pen, but you also really have, I mean, pretty much you've almost made the whole pen out of the blank at that point. Put a cap on there. That'd be kind of cool. I like the chrome one too. It's not bad, but this is a pretty cool pen. This was a really fun one to make. And like I said, you don't necessarily need to get the Stark pen kit to do that. You could technically do that with pretty much any kit, I think. Maybe there are cases where it wouldn't work, but I think you could pretty much just ditch the bottom part and do a closed end. And then I just wanted to show for anybody that didn't see it already, actually, this thing's so big I actually need to just put it up here. This is what we made on the Patreon live stream hangout. It is, let's see, it's about a 6, it's just under 6 inches. It was a 6-inch PVC pipe that I used. And I think, how long is this? 8.5? I measured it, now I can't remember. Yeah, it's about 8.5, but the thing is also the plug that I used is kind of concave. So let's just say it's about an 8-inch tall, 6-inch wide blank. And what I have planned for this is I want to make like a lamp type project. And so we cast a bunch of pine cones in there. I wasn't sure how much resin I was going to actually need, so there's a few that are just kind of hanging out the top. I'll just cut them off, we can reuse it. But it's pretty cool. I used the macaw green from eye candy. This is the first time I've ever used any of the eye candy. It looked pretty good. Got a little bit of midnight purple in there from Caster's Choice, and then we just did some actually I think it was the divine white pigment. And so I'm not sure what this is going to look like on the inside exactly. We kind of did a few different types of pours, but it's looking pretty cool so far. Even if we didn't really get a whole lot of swirling color, that macaw green I think is going to be really cool looking. So even if we didn't get like, you know, super color swirly thing kind of going on, I'm pretty excited. I think it's going to be, it's what I had in mind for that blank, let's say. So I'm pretty excited about that. Now, one other thing, and I totally forgot I was going to do this before. Shoot. I got to go to my email real quick, guys. I got to get a link because there is, let's see here. We are having another live streaming event day. A bunch of YouTubers, really good lineup of people. We're all going to be streaming on August 22nd. And so let me get a link to the website. So you can get all the information about who's all doing it. The list is really, really long. And basically what it's going to do is, from my time zone, from like US based time zone. I may be off a few hours here, and I'm not sure if it's like Eastern or Pacific or whatever, but basically it's going to start, I want to say like maybe midday, or I don't know exactly the time. Let me I have this information. Let me just give you the real info here. Yeah, so it's going to start at 10 a.m. in the UK, and it's going to go until 1 to 2 a.m. UK time. So on the flip side of that, if you're in the US, it'll start at 2 to 3 a.m. So for you late night owls, if you want to stay up and have an all-nighter, it'll be starting in the UK, and it's going to be the same way we did the other one, where with the Easy Wood Tools and Carl Jacobson, where everybody's doing a live stream basically on their own channel, and I think it's for an hour each channel, and then you just hand it off and then go to the next channel, and it's going to be pretty cool. So it'll start at 2 to 3 a.m. Jamie Page is kicking it off, and I'm pretty sure that this was the brainchild of Jamie and Carl Jacobson. So, and then a bunch of other people also chipped in to kind of get this thing going. It's called the Virtual Craft Festival, and there's like fireworks and explosions. It's awesome. So here's the link to the website. It's going to be really cool. There's some really cool makers. A lot of people that did the last one, as well as some new faces. Some people that I had never, I didn't follow before. There's going to be like some carving, and there's going to be, I think, pottery, I think is what one of the artists does. So lots of different stuff. Obviously, it's going to be pretty heavily wood turning focused, but there's going to be different stuff. It's going to be pretty cool. So, and a lot of people, obviously, it's going for like 24 hours straight almost. It's like a rally live stream. So August 22nd, it's going to be pretty awesome. So and I say that date, I'm hoping that, I don't know if there's weird time zone issues. I think it would be August 22nd. In the UK, it starts at 11 a.m. So we'll have to double check on that. But so basically, I want to say a week from this week. So like not this weekend, but next weekend is when this is going to be. So pretty awesome. I'm super stoked about it. I'm going to be doing mine at, when am I doing mine? 3? Yeah, so I'm 3 to 4 p.m. And so I think this is Pacific time. Yeah, so that's Pacific time. I'm going to be basically at my normal time, 3 p.m. Pacific time, but it's going to be Saturday. I know that for sure. I'm going to be doing it on Saturday. So regardless of the time zone, I'm at 3 p.m. Saturday, August 22nd. So, and I'm trying to come up, I'm going to do a turning project this time. I don't think I'm going to do like actual resin casting. I think I have something in mind that I need to kind of test out, and it should be pretty fun if this works. So anyway, I don't want to let it, I want to do a little bit of testing and make sure that I can actually do this thing that I want to do. Before I announce anything or mention it or let it slip. So anyway, lots of announcements, and so I hope you guys can kind of join. Like I know that most people probably are not going to stay there for the whole thing. I'm not going to stay up all night watching everybody across the pond myself. I can't do that, but I'm going to try and get in on as many of the streams and be in the chat to kind of support the maker and hang out with you guys. So I'll be on the other side of the camera. I had a lot of fun doing that last time. So anyway, that's going on. So we got these things in the mold, or in the oven. Whoo-wee. All right, so we got Melvin and Frank super chatted. So so far, you two will be up. So what we're going to do here, and I might need to cut these possibly. I didn't prep. I had another phone call. Yeah. Let's see here. Let me look at something real quick. I don't know if I like that. That's just going to be a waste of resin. I'm going to cut these guys down just a little bit, so I'll just kind of move the camera. Let me just... One of these, I think one of these is longer than the others. Or maybe they're all just a little bit longer. All right, so I'm going to use this mold, and basically what we're going to do is we're just going to drop 3 of these guys down in here from the top. The blanks looked pretty good last time we did that, so I thought we'd just go for it again. Let's see here. Yeah, just making sure that I know what I'm doing. So I'm going to cut these guys at the bandsaw so that they'll fit in there, and then I may as well cut all 4 just because. And actually, you know what I think we're going to do? We're going to do a 6 blank mold, because We got 4. Let's do this one. I got one of these guys also. Like I said, hodgepodge day, guys. It's going to be a hodgepodge a little bit. And then we can just kind of toss these guys. I got some little cutoffs that we can add. So this will be a 6 blank mold. We'll use this one. And then we'll cut these guys to fit. And we'll get 6 blanks out of this. This should be pretty cool. So let me, I think it's going to be way, way far away because I'm going to be down at the bandsaw. Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool, Klondike. I'm going to be, I don't know, it's a good list of people. So make sure to head over to that website and check out all the people. And we'll be posting about it. Did I put the link? Where did I? Yeah, I did. Okay. I put the link. So make sure to check it out, see what's going on and all that kind of stuff. I'm not even sure what Tickerolea is. Not sure what that one is. I use Alumilite. It works pretty well. All right, so let's I'll be down way at the end there. Sorry about this. Is kind of a terrible camera view, but I can't really do much else for the moment. So I'm going to get these things cut so that they'll fit in here lengthwise, and we'll get some casting going on. So I hope everybody's doing good today. I'm doing pretty good. Man, it's going to be hot next week. I was looking at one, I don't know if you guys know Tab Left Workshop. He's over in Sacramento. He posted today that the temperatures in Sacramento are going to be absolutely horrible. Super high, and that means whenever it's high in Sacramento, it's going to be just about as hot. But luckily, we don't have the humidity issues that Sacramento does. We're on the other side of the mountain. So at least we got that. At least there's that. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm just cross-cutting these on my bandsaw real quick. Let me get my glasses on and my mask. And I just have a little cross-cut sled that I made. Super simple. All you got, it's literally a piece of MDF, just a base, and then I just put another piece of MDF that I screwed on top. Frankly, I don't even think I glued the fence on. So don't need a whole lot. And then I put a little runner underneath so it goes in the runner slot. All right, I'm going to put you guys on mute real quick. Uh-oh, we got dinner's ready. Hold on, guys. Let me just turn this off, otherwise I won't shut up. So I'm going to put you guys on mute so you don't have to listen to all the dust collector and all the stuff going on. But then we'll get things rolling here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just use a little stop that I'm not even fancy. I got a little clamp thing here, super low tech, but it didn't take long to make. All right, so put you guys on mute and I'll be back in 1 sec. All right, now we're ready. We got a few little cutoffs that we can add to the mix. I'm gonna blow these off just to make sure there's no little fuzzies going on. Just hit these with a little bit of air. So I saw somebody asked Christina what the temp was. You're in Sweden, right? I'm pretty sure Sweden. I like 68 degrees. That sounds like a great temperature. But that's at night, I think, right? I guess we drop down to that here. like, you know, if it would just stay 80 here, oh man, that'd be great. 80 on the dot. I can handle that. I could definitely handle that. Let's tilt that down a little bit. Okay, here we go. Yeah, and Ray, you guys in Texas, I don't even, hotter than fish grease. I don't even know how you survive in Texas. Man, I can't even, like, I go to Austin, Texas, which is not, you know, the southern part, Houston area. Oh my God, I don't know how you guys do it. Really, I think I might literally just melt to death if I went to anywhere in the South in the summer. I'm pretty sure, I don't think I would actually like last. I don't think I can make it. I'm so used to like zero, pretty much next to zero humidity that there's just no way. I can't handle Austin's nothing humidity in the summer. Like Waco when we go to SWAT, that's too much for me. I'm like, give me air conditioning right now. I'm gonna sweat to death. 101 and then the rain. Oh man, yeah. It gets a little humid here when it rains and stuff because like in the West they have like the monsoon season. And it can get kind of humid, I guess, but I mean it's like not anything like the humidity, you know, in many places. It's pretty much dry. So if I was to move out of this area, I think I'd be limited to, like, I could move to Utah maybe. Some parts of California, like the desert, like, you know, Palm Springs area. New Mexico sounds okay. Some parts of Texas I think are pretty dry. And then like, you know, Wyoming, Colorado, that's about it. Maybe Idaho. I think Idaho could be okay too, but that's like pretty much it. Like if it's any more humid than any of those places, I'm done for. All right, so I sprayed my mold. We got all of our little chunks going. So at this point, it's time so we got Melvin and Frank. You guys get to pick. You guys are in charge of what we're doing here. So again, it's going to be kind of a hodgepodge, especially in this one. I don't have anything to put these little cutoff guys in, but we got some little cutoffs from the banksia pods. I'm just going to toss these in kind of. There should be about one more slot. So I got some of that, and I got some of these little guys from the giraffe things. And again, the banksia pod and all these things, except for that burl chunk, I made that myself. But all this stuff was from Stephen Daniels. He sent all these guys in, and he makes this stuff, and it will sell you, you know, faux banksia pods, gator jaw. He's got faux honeycomb, the resin honeycomb, lotus pods I've seen. I don't know, the giraffe things. So he's got quite a few of those. He's made, you know, silicone molds of them, and he just pours aluminite resin and makes them himself. So this thing has the banksia pod. I don't know if I'm going to switch cameras real quick to this one, I think. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of denatured alcohol just to kind of try and bring out some of the colors that are in this a little bit. I think it's basically like a kind of a coppery, you know, obviously blue. We got a lot of blue in there. Looks like maybe copper, silver, and blue. I don't know. There's a good. Actually, that side's really good. Let's look at this side. That'll kind of give you an idea of what. Oh, I'm off camera. A lot of copper and blue, maybe a little bit of like gunmetal or silver or something like that in there. So just to kind of give you an idea of what are we looking at here in that. This one is, I want to say, green and silver, basically. Honeycomb, that's going to go in that mold. And then we got, like I said, those little cutoff things. Just going to kind of toss those guys in after the fact. So pick your color. Let's see. No, I don't think anybody's picked one. Frank's not in charge. What? Let's see. Did Melvin? I don't know. Did Melvin pick a? I don't know if any. Sorry, I haven't been. There's a lot of. You guys are chatting like crazy. Oh, silver. Okay, I see you. I got silver from Melvin, and Frank. Well, you can designate someone if you don't want to do it. But I really recommend. I mean, really, you can't go wrong with anything. I don't think. You know? I don't have any necessarily have any suggestions, I don't think. Emerald green. All right, so just to remind everybody, Chad is in charge of the burl chunk one. He gets to pick whatever we're doing with that, which kind of, it's limited to, it'll be limited to, it has to be transparent, but he could also add, you know, some glitter. Like we put some pink glitter in the clear on the bottom, but if you wanted to, like, you know, we can tint the top. So we, you know, it's hard to explain. This is a really odd thing that we made. It looks like we use silver, but it's actually clear. This just has a silver lining around, but if we cut this or sanded it away, this whole bottom part is clear. And there's a little bit of purple glitter in here, or pink. I think it might be pink. And then we put chameleon flakes on it. It's a weird optical illusion, but basically we're gonna fill this, and Chad gets to pick what we put on the top. So, you know, like if you wanted like purple tinted resin or clear or blue, we could add just a tiny hint of color if you wanted, but we can also add some very little bit of glitter or, you know, something in the top. So that he'll be on the next one. All right, so let's see here. Too much, well, there's not, yeah, I know that we're kind of mixing a lot of stuff. This is the only thing that's green, but it is kind of a little bit of green in there. And actually, Melvin, I want to make sure, because this thing has silver in it, a little bit of silver already in this one. So I just want to, I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page here. So we'll let you guys double check. Double check your stuff. Yeah, Pyro, I actually don't use their epoxy product. I use their urethane Alumilite Clear Slow Set. This is a good one. This is a really good one for turning. I know a lot of people like the Amazing Clear. So Amazing Clear Cast, that's their epoxy one. That one is, you can't pour it as thick, and there's, you know, it's an epoxy. It's a little bit more of like a tabletop epoxy, and it's slightly different than this, way longer working time. This one's a fast one. I got 12 minutes of working time. If it were like 72 degrees in the shop, it's 83 right now. So, you know, I got probably like 9 or 10 minutes. It's a pretty quick resin, and I like that personally because I can get it in a pressure pot, pull them out in a couple hours, move on to the next one. But with your most epoxies, you're talking like it's at least a 9-hour demold time, so it has to stay, you know, in the pressure pot or in the mold for 9 hours. And actually, Amazing Clear Cast, they actually recommend, like, I think it says like 18 hours or something. It's just, that's too long for me, so I don't use that one. But lots of people do use it. And the one drawback, if you're in, we were just talking about humidity, if you're in a very humid area, like your shop is like super humid, it's like 80% humidity, you probably don't want to use a urethane anyway because they're very sensitive to moisture. And so at that point, epoxies are some epoxies can be pretty temperamental with moisture too, but some of them are not. And a lot of people that are in humid areas actually use the Amazing Clear Cast because of that. So let's see here. I just want to make sure. Pink, let's see. Frank wants a yellow. And I just want to double check. So Melvin, do you want to stick with silver? We got a couple different yellows. We could either try a yellow dye, this Divine Pigment. Which one is this one called? Sunny Yellow, Divine Pigment. That would be a dye. We got Sunrise Yellow, Caster's Choice. We got Neon Yellow, Caster's Choice. And I also have, which I think this one's very, I don't know. We also have Tampopo. Look at that, Tampopo Yellow. Is it, I don't know. It looks kind of similar to the Caster's Choice ones, one of them. Let me look inside here. I don't know. Whoa, it popped. Wow, Watch out, it may pop on you. You don't want to be breathing mica dust, really. I think this one's kind of like sunrise yellow. Caster's choice. I still haven't, I forgot, I was on the phone with Chad not too long ago, and I forgot to remind him to get me the list that's kind of like, yeah, that's basically sunrise yellow. It's the same thing. That shows what the eye candy ones are that are the same as Caster's choice. A lot of these mica powders are kind of the same. Let's see here. Copper pearl. Nice. Metal flake. I don't have a copper metal. I have the copper. I have antique copper. I got antique copper Pearl-X, and well, so realistically, there's a ton of copper. Most of this is actually copper. It's blue, copper, and silver. So I don't know if that's a good idea either, really. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. But we got Jerry's yellow. We got Jerry's yellow. I mean, maybe it's kind of a brown or a bronze, but it's kind of the same thing as copper. Sorry, I know it. Yeah, I don't know about the Tampopo. I don't know what that means. Yeah, eye candy has a lot more. I think they have I want to say Turner's Warehouse. I want to say they might have 50 colors or 40 or something like that. Whereas I think Caster's Choice only had 20 something. So there is a few more, but obviously within that line, there's going to be some crossover, basically. The Beard, what's up, man? How you doing? 90% humidity? I didn't know it was that humid over in the Nordic areas like that. No, Chad, not what to make out of it. You just get to pick the colors. Sorry. I have an idea of something to make out of it. I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, and actually, yeah, they eye candy has a ton of them. Turner's Warehouse has, I want to say 40 or 50, but they actually have even more. And I just heard that for those of you guys that know, you've heard of P-Town Subby, Fred Wisson. That's who makes the silicone molds, the tube-in things that I make, and these are P-Town Subby. He made the Geezy molds. He's lots of silicone things, and also the little casting pot rack thing. So lots of different things that Fred makes, but he actually came out with a line of micas too that Turner's Warehouse is carrying. So there's lots of micas. If you need any color of mica, I'm pretty sure that they've got it. They have got it. So let's see. What did Frank say? Shoot, now I'm getting very confused here. Frank wants a yellow. So do you want the Tampopo? We can go with the Tampopo. It's pretty good stuff. Black Pearl. Okay, that's a good idea. All right, so we're going to go with Tampopo yellow. Is that right, Frank? And Black Pearl. Black Pearl. All right. I'm going to get things rolling here finally. So, I need to get gotta get my notebook out. There it is. Got my notebook. So I'm going to switch to that side view thing. So you can kind of see what I'm doing. Actually, I'm going to switch to the other one because I don't want to forget. And this one's a little bit more important. So here's my notebook. So today is the 14th. And we're doing hodgepodge. All right, Frank's doing the Tampopo. So number one, we're doing the pen blanks. I'll just say that. All right, so that mold holds 540 grams. We're shoving a ton of resin in there. So what I'm going to do, I don't want to, it's very difficult to estimate something like that. So I'm just going to thumb it. Basically, I'm going to come up with a number that I know is going to be more than it needs. And we're going to have a spare tube ready to go so I can pour extras in there and get me an extra pen blank and not waste anything. So I'm going to go with, sometimes it can be a little bit, I'm just going to mix up, I think, I don't know, 3, I'm going to mix up 340 grams. Hopefully that'll be enough. That should be. And then we'll do, let's do 70% Tampopo yellow. That's an eye candy color. 30% black pearl, caster's choice. So let's see what we're looking at here. 340. So that's 170 times 2. I'm going to mix the whole cup first, and then we'll dump some off. Let's see, 340. Yeah, 170. Actually, I'm going to mix up 2 different cups. It'll just be easier. So, oh, that didn't work. 0.7 times 340. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to be mixing is 240 grams for the yellow, and I'm going to mix 100 grams for the black. That's total. All right. Oops. Gotta write down what we're doing here. Turn my pen on. So we're going to do Tampopo yellow. Who came up with that? Eye candy pearl. Let's see here. So we're going to do, let's do like a half a teaspoon. That should be enough. And then black pearl. That's a caster's choice color, and we'll do a 1/4 teaspoon of that. And then let's see, I got to make notes. I'm going to make notes that we're going to be adding Faux banksia, honeycomb, and cutoffs. And I'm using my 6 blank mold, and we're using Alumilite clear slow set. Okay, so we got our numbers so you guys can see what's happening in the cameras. Get my 2 cups. Let's see. I'm going to get a medium and a small. I want to get my pen blank ready, my pen tube. Let's see here. So what I'm going to do, I have a tube, 3/4 inch PVC pipe, and then I got one of the little PVC plugs, silicone plugs. I'm going to spray this with Stoner over here, mold release. We don't want our resin to get stuck in the tube. That ought to be good. They got a little holder thing that'll keep my tube from falling over, so that's nice. Okay, turn my scale on here, get this out of the way. Zero it out. So we got our, again, I'm going to be using Alumilite Clear Slow Set. It's the one that I like. One of the big advantage to this is you can pour it in gigantic amounts. But it'll work for a single pen blank too. I don't recommend pouring very small amounts, especially if it's cooler in your shop when the temperature starts kind of falling. You know, even a single tube pen blank, it's on the low side. I wouldn't go much lower than that. So like for 2-bin blanks, if you're doing the you know, 2-bin, very tiny amounts, I don't really recommend it for that. What ends up happening, especially on a clear casting, you're going to get white haziness in there because it's not reaching the temperature it needs to cure fully. So better for bigger stuff, but it can generally handle, you know, single pen blanks up to huge amounts. All right, so we're zeroed out. We're going to add 120 grams times 2. $114. 116, 118, 19. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add the part B to both cups, to each one. So we needed 120 times 2. Alumilite clear slow, and actually another thing that I do kind of like about it, it's 1-to-1 mix ratio. So you just split whatever number the total is in half, which makes things really nice. But you need to use a scale with this specific resin. Alumilite clear slow or the slow set. Alumilite clear, either the regular version or the slow set. You need to use a scale to measure this. The amazing clear cast, the epoxy product that I was talking about earlier, that stuff you want to use, you're doing volume measurements. So you'd get a graduated cup and put, whatever, if it's like 2-to-1 or whatever it may be, 1-to-1. I think it might be 1-to-1 on Amazing Clear Cast, but make sure you read the directions and know, what are you supposed to be using? Is it volume or weight before you start mixing stuff up? Because if you don't do the right one, it probably won't cure right. You need to have those ratios correct. All right, so in this one we're doing 100 grams total, so 50 times 2. So here we go. I'm adding just the part A. Might have been too much. Now we got 52 in here, so rather than just pour it back, I'm just going to write 52 on this cup. That way I know. This is the nice thing. It's much easier if you need to make adjustments when it's 1-to-1. I just say, okay, well I need to put 52 in instead of 50. So that's nice. So we got part A in both of these cups. This one's 120, this one's 52. Let's get our part B out. And the way that I like doing this, the larger amount will technically set up, start warming up faster. So I always add my part B to the small cup first. And sometimes I'll have many cups and I'll do, smallest cup to biggest cup, adding the part B as I go bigger and bigger. All right, so I've zeroed that out. We need 52. $45, $49, $51, 0.4, and just a little tiny squirt more. 52, yes. 120 in this one. $115, $119. Just a couple notes about resin. So, it's summertime. It's pretty, we're at the warmest part of the year for me in the shop. And resins, the way they work, when it's warmer, the warmer it is, the less working time you're going to have. So typically when they say that they have so much working time and a cure time and demold time, that's typically, most of them are kind of assuming room temperature normal, which is around 70 degrees or so, 72 Fahrenheit. So right now it's 84 degrees in my shop, and that means that the resin is going to start out a little bit thinner viscosity. So that's something good to know, but I'm going to have less working time. This typically has 12 minutes or so before it starts to harden up. In the summer I have less time to work with it. So just know that, and if it starts dropping below 70 degrees, then you're going to have more time, and also the resin will be a little bit thicker viscosity when it's cooler. So you can always, you can warm up your resin using like a double boiler kind of thing. Put it in warm water. That'll thin out your resin a little bit if it's super thick. A couple tricks here and there, but you don't really want to be casting in temperatures too much lower. I wouldn't say than like 50 or so, 55 degrees Fahrenheit. I wouldn't recommend it. And really, you really want to be closer. You want to be warmer typically. They'll just cure better. 70 is what I shoot for in my shop. We have a heater, so we keep it around 68, 70 degrees all year. And then in the summer, we don't. It's just too big for air conditioning. So we just kind of suffer through the summer and deal with it. So we're going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of black pearl. You guys can you see what's going on? Not really. Come over here, how about that? This is a 1/4 teaspoon measuring spoon. We're going to put that in the little one. I'm going to wipe this guy off. And then we're going to do some Tampopo yellow from Eye Candy. We'll give you guys a shot of that. Ooh-wee. Looks very similar to the Sunrise yellow. And we're going to put a 1/2 teaspoon, so I'm just going to use the same thing, wiped it off. And we're going to put 2 scoops, just like Raisin Bran. And that'll be a 1/2 teaspoon. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to pour some of this in to the mold. And then we're going to push our things down because those banksia pods have a bunch of holes in them all over the place. And so I want to I don't want to just dump the resin over it. I want to kind of put some resin down in the bottom and try to make sure that I'm not trapping an air pocket or sticking it down in there and pouring resin on, and the resin just can't even access it. I want to have some resin in the bottom, push our the banksia pod things down in, same with the honeycomb. And then, you know, once we've kind of filled some of those holes up and tried our best to make sure that there's no air pockets, then we'll you know, push them down in and pour the rest of the resin on top and let it fill the holes and all that stuff. But this is a case where I don't necessarily recommend waiting till your resin is super thick. I would rather have a little bit of color bleed and make sure that my resin's still, you know, thin, you know, so that it'll kind of flow into all these little holes and stuff. It's a little bit of a trade-off, but I think it'll be okay. So actually, but I am going to wait a little bit. Let me see what temperature we're at. I've been pouring color swirl blanks with slow set clear at about 115 Fahrenheit, and so it's 98. I think we're good. 98, 95 for the yellow. I think I'm okay with pouring it where it's at, starting to. So let's see here. Let's get this thing right in there. Close this guy up. And like I said, we'll just pour a little bit down in the bottom. So what I'm going to do is just kind of pour a little bit. Pour a little bit. I'm just going to keep doing this to kind of swirl these colors together a little bit, but somewhat carefully. Maybe just one small little pass here, more. And then we'll start pushing our stuff in. Then we'll fill up the rest of the mold once we see. I want to make sure I get these banksia pods in. So some of these guys have holes on the bottom and stuff, so that you want to make sure that you're not trapping any air. I'm going to kind of put it in like that. This one's pretty much square, so I'm going to be, you know, a little bit more careful. Just try and kind of put it in a little bit slower. Just kind of rotate it around and try and make sure that I'm not trapping air. Push those guys down a little bit. And this one can go in. Kind of just dumped that in. So I'm just going to kind of lift it up, make sure any air bubbles get kind of pushed out. Push these guys down. I know I'm really mixing this up. That wasn't my intention. And I'm just dropping that one straight down in. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit more resin to the top. And then I have some little cutoffs that I want to push this kind of down. I want to make sure that I'm not trapping too much air in that honeycomb. Typically I do honeycombs all together and I'll pour all the resin in before and let it kind of sink down in there, but it'll be covered. So we may run into some problems with that one, I'm not sure. Let's see, where's my stick? I'm just going to kind of push these guys down. I can kind of tilt this also and kind of push it back down. That may kind of help some if there's any air pockets. But I got a bunch of little cutoffs that we're just going to kind of toss down in the end here. We'll get an extra little kind of funky blank. See what that's like. See all these air bubbles on top of the honeycomb? So hopefully I didn't trap a bunch of air bubbles. Hopefully they're freeing themselves. But at this point, I mean, they're covered, and I think that's enough resin in this for pen blanks. Maybe I'll add just a little bit more, just for good measure. This might have been pretty mixed up. I'm not sure. We'll have to kind of see. But realistically, the banksia pod, the holes in it, I don't know that you'd really notice a big difference anyway. So I wouldn't really worry too much about that. Still think the colors are pretty cool looking. So I got a little bit of extra left over. I'm just going to dump my yellow into my black cup. Call this kind of a dirty pour basically. And then I'm just going to tilt that and we'll see what we get. Got a little left, but I'm just going to waste it. So I want to get my lid on. More concerned about not wasting the resin that's in the mold. All right, so that ought to be pretty cool. We got a little bit of yellow and black. A bunch of different types of things in there. All right, so it's in the pressure pot. We're going to put it up to 70 psi. And then the standard warnings about the pressure pot. Mine are CA Technologies, and they have the sticker and the instructions, everything. They're good to go. They have a max working pressure of 80 psi. So I only go to 70. I'm well within the working, limits of my pot. Now, if you whatever kind of pressure pot you have, make sure you don't go over whatever the max is that they say. And you should not have any problems. But if you do exceed that working pressure, it could fail, which means it's going to turn into a bomb, basically. And you don't want that. So just make sure you're safe and stay within the limits. You should be good to go. All right, so let's see here. Let's see what's happening. The bees, yeah, they look like bees. All right, so the next one, and this is now we're to Chad's. He's going to get to pick whatever we're going to do with this thing. Okay. My hands are a little bit sweaty. I don't want to touch that thing right now. I like my fan. I usually blow my hands off. And then put some gloves on. Otherwise, I can't get the gloves on. My hands are sweaty. Oh, man. It's like a big bee, yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't really like bees too much. Actually, I don't know. Bees are fine. Like honeybees, they're fine, but like all the other things, the hornets and the wasps and all those things are just annoying. I mean, at least I know if I get stung by a bee, it's dead. It ain't messing around. Well, I think most of them, at least. All right, Ray, have a good one, man. All right, so Chad, you're up. So we got this doohickey right here. Like I said, it's clear resin on the bottom. It just has a coating on the outside. And then silver and purple kind of, it's like the chameleon flakes on this side. And then on the inside, you can kind of see those peaks. It's like the negative of it. I just thought it'd be kind of cool because typically most of these burl things, you just pour colors in. And so the whole thing is like color. But I thought it'd be kind of neat. You get like two, like the negative, the reverse, and then you get like the positive of your burl edges, the live edge. And so We'll go for something transparent, but we could also, I can look up and see which, I'm pretty sure I know, but we can look up which, let me switch to the other camera because it'll focus better. This one. See all those little glitters in there? I can look up the glitter that's in the clear part, and we can match that if you wanted to. Do the same thing. So let me know. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a 4-inch PVC pipe, and I got one of my handy dandy Turner's Warehouse silicone 4-inch PVC plugs. Very nice. I think I'm going to use a different. I think I got a nicer one of these. Yeah, we're going to use this one. It's pretty. It's clean. So again, I'm going to go over here and we're going to spray this. I spray this stuff over kind of in the corner because I don't want it all over my shop. I want it in this corner that it doesn't affect anything. You don't want to be spraying mold release or other things like WD-40. I guess I've never really mentioned this, but you don't really want to be spraying like silicone or graphite sprays or anything like that that's like something non-stick anywhere near stuff that you're planning to cast in resin. It will not stick anymore. So one thing that I probably should have done, I think we'll be okay. I probably should have cleaned all this. I shouldn't say I should do this. I mean, I need to spray this thing off. It's got little particles. And then I think I'm going to scrape the inside of this thing a little bit and just get, because it's got like little resin, blobs. So I'm gonna get rid of that stuff, and then I'm gonna respray it because we're gonna do transparent. I don't want these little chunks coming off possibly and getting into the transparent resin. Nothing worse than that, having little floaties. And I mean, even if you make everything perfect, it's still tough to keep stuff out of totally clear castings. So I'm gonna do this. So I'm just spraying off the PVC plug. That's all that really is necessary. You could also, kind of wipe it down with denatured alcohol. So I've done that. And then what I'm gonna do to kind of scrape this thing is I just use a ruler and I just kind of get in there and kind of scrape any little chunkies off, just to make sure that stuff doesn't come off when we're actually casting. I don't know if I'm on the camera or not. See all these little things that are coming off? So I'm going to go over here and then I'm going to blow it out again. Just make sure that we don't have any chunkies. We don't want any chunkies in our casting. All right, so we got that pretty clean. I think I'm going to wipe it down one more time just to make sure there's no strays. And then I'm also going to spray it again with the air hose. So I just wiped it with a paper towel. I'm going to spray it one more time just to try and make sure that there's no lint stuff coming off. And I missed a couple things, but I think we're good at this point. Oh, I got to spray this with the stoner again. All this preparation, but you want to make sure that you give it a good coating of doesn't have to be like dripping or anything like that, but you want to make sure that you get all the surfaces with mold release. Otherwise, your casting can get stuck in there. Illuminate clear slow set is generally not too bad, I don't find, with getting stuck in PVC pipes. Epoxies are worse, I've found. All right, so let me scroll up. Let's see, where are we at here? Let's see if Chad, purple, coppery, silver, pearl. Well, I can add a little bit of powder, but it's going to have to be very, very tiny. Like I could add some wisps to, like make most of this clear and then add a couple wisps, but it needs to be very transparent and nothing really blocking the view, because the whole point is I want to see what does that, I want to be able to see what the both sides of that, you know, the top of the burl look like. So let me know if that's what you mean, like a couple little wispy things. Best bowl yet. Nice. That's awesome. Sweet. Yeah. I feel for you, Doug. Injuries suck. This is nowhere near your level of injury, but Gretchen's had, I think she like strained her hip flexor or something like that, and it's just been, like that's not even like an injury, like, you know, really. It is, but it's not nearly as bad as like broken bones or, you know, stuff like that. And it just, it sucks. Doug was a hot mess before the fall. He was like a warm mess. I don't know if he was a hot mess. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. All right, so I got my little book out. We're gonna add number 2. Let's see here. This one is, I'm going to call it Faux Burl. See-through thing. We're using a 4-inch PVC pipe and Alumilite clear slow set. So let's see here. I can't remember how much resin I need for these things now. I'm going to go back in my note. This is why I have my notebook. I'm going to go back and look at sphere blank. Looks like we did about 600 faux burl. Oh no, sphere blank. Yeah, about 600 grams to fill on top of these things. All right, so we're going to do 600 grams total. And then most of it we're just going to pour clear in there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to break off a couple cups. And he wants, let's see, Chad wanted, gotta find it again. Purple, copper, silver, pearl. Purple, copper. Okay, so clear. And then purple, copper, silver. All right, so what I think in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to use, where is it? We're going to use pewter for the silver. That's a good one. I don't think I want to use the metallic stuff in this one because it's so light, it'll just kind of dissipate and move around. Being a little bit larger, I think that we're better off using like true, what you typically think of as, you know, just your micas. So we'll use antique copper. We'll use pewter, and then purple. I mean, I think we're going to have to go with Plum Crazy because it's the bomb. So it's going to be a very tiny amount of this stuff, though. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to break off a little tiny bit of resin, add a little bit of that powder to each one of these, and then we're just going to kind of drop a little bit in there and kind of swirl it. But like I said, I really want this to be, it's not going to be a lot of it swirled all over the place because I really want to be able to see in there and see what's going on. So we'll just have to kind of, you know, be careful with it and wing it a little bit. So I'll mix up the whole 600 and then break off, you know, just a little bit, like we're talking like 5 grams maybe in each one of these things, something like that. Just a little tiny scoop of powders in each one of those, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll. So there we go, there we go. I'm not sure what I'm going to actually make with this. I actually have other ideas, but yeah, sphere. That's typically what what I initially thought for these things was they'd be pretty cool spheres. But you could make a. You kind of need to keep it solid. I think. I don't think it'd be, I don't know. I don't think it'd be as cool as if you made like a box out of it and hollowed the whole thing. But it might be kind of cool if you did like you could make like a light maybe out of it, or I don't know. What would you guys do? You guys got any other ideas of some things that you could make with like a 4-inch PVC pipe size thing? It would probably be about 4 by 5 or so in there. All right, so I'm gonna get, and again with you don't want a bunch of crusty things getting into this resin, so I'm actually gonna go get a brand new cup so I don't have to worry that there's little crusties. You can reuse these paint mixing cups. You know, you can just kind of take all this stuff out, but what ends up happening is just like the top of that PVC pipe, there's little crusties, and this is even worse because you're stirring in it and you're gonna break off those little, you know, the little chunks, little beads here and there, unless you do a really, really good job cleaning it. And so best thing to do if you're trying to avoid getting stuff in your casting with clear resin, just go get a new cup. Best way to go. All right, so you guys can see what I'm doing up in the top corner there. I've zeroed out my scale. Let's see, I just want to make sure I'm ready here. I'm not sure. No, I don't think I want to add glitter to it also. I think we're just going to do some trails because it's going to kind of be all over the place. All right, so 300 grams of Part A. $288, $296, ooh, $299.6. This should be good. There we go, 300 on the dot. All right, zeroed out. And 300 grams of Part B. I'm actually going to add a little extra Part B, and I want to make sure, big asterisk, this only applies to Alumilite Clear Slow Set. This does not apply to Amazing Clear Cast or any other resin, definitely not epoxies. I like to add a little extra Part B just to ensure, it'll ensure that you get a pretty clear casting. It helps a little bit because what can happen is if you're a little Part A heavy, if for some reason you measured wrong or something, if it ends up being a little Part A heavy, it can be a little bit kind of cloudy. So not a bad idea just to add a little extra Part B. So I'm just going to add, like, you know, we have 300 grams of Part A. I'm going to put like 301, maybe 302 Part B, just to make sure. It's not going to do anything to the overall ratio or the curing. It's not going to affect anything, but will just help out. So like I said, this only applies to this specific resin though. You don't want to do this with anything else. All right, so there we go, 302. Let me get my mixing stick out here. I'm going to get these guys out of my way for a sec so I don't get them all resiny. You tried the negative rake. Nice. I'm telling you, they are game changers. Especially, like, the biggest thing for me, because I used for the longest time, and this is, again, mostly I'm talking about like pen turning, because that's mostly what I have the most experience with. But you know, with pens and stuff, I mean, I had no problem using the regular carbide, or I was very comfortable just using a normal gouge. But where they really come in, you know, when I would kind of step out of my comfort zone and do larger projects, even on the outside of a spindle, man, you could get some pretty gnarly catches with the regular carbides. And then hollowing is night and day. I hated hollowing. Like, I just wouldn't do it with carbide on resin. It was just, I would get catch after catch. And I mean, most likely there was probably some issues with the way I was doing it, but I'm not the only person that experiences this. And then when they came out with those negative rate cutters, man, like they do not get, you can't, like it is so hard to get a catch, which I've never gotten one, I don't think. You would have to put it in upside down or something, I don't know. And so it's made hollowing like fun. That's one of my favorite things to do now with turning. And so total game changer. I'm glad you tried it out. I definitely agree they're worth every penny, especially like for resin. I mean, it's kind of like, why wouldn't you use them now? All right, so I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm just gonna add a little tiny bit of resin to each one of these because I'm not gonna be adding much. Oh, that was probably too much. And we'll just kind of push it down in there. And another thing you could do is, use a syringe to kind of shove it down in there and get what you want. I would need to practice that a little bit. I've tried it, but I haven't gotten super stellar results because I think there's a little bit of, not much, but a little bit of technique to it. But it does help, it'll get you, colors or different effects like at the depth that you want. Okay, so you guys can see what's going on here. Some stickiness going on. All right, so we're just going to go with, you don't really need a lot of this. Just add a little bit. And that's actually pretty loaded up ratio of pearl to resin. Very loaded. We don't need that much. It's fine. And it's not going to hurt anything if it's quite a bit. And then we got some copper. Again, not much. I don't even need that much. But you want to mix this in because you can't just you want to mix it into resin and then, put that in your clear. Because you really can't get the powder. It'll just kind of dissipate in that clear and not work the way that you intended it to. So you want to mix it into a little bit of resin first, and then you can add it in. So what I'm going to do is we're going to pretty much pour most of that resin in, and then we'll kind of add this stuff in, and I'll just try and kind of push it around. All right, so here's our burl. Just toss that guy in there. And then the first thing that I'm going to do, because that thing doesn't fit exactly perfect in that PVC pipe, there's some gaps on the sides. I'm going to pour just a very small amount of resin in here. Kind of messed up on the sizing when I cut the master burl out. It's a little undersized. But I'm going to kind of I want to work this around in here and try and get it into, that crack between the PVC pipe and the little burl chunk. So I'm just doing a little bit at a time. Pour a little bit on there. Just kind of roll it around, make sure that it's getting into all the little crevices, but especially in that gap. I want to make sure that we don't have a giant air pocket forming between the wall. It's not a huge deal. You're going to turn that away most likely anyway, but I'd rather just make it look nice. And by doing this also, there's little holes and stuff on the burl, and it's just kind of filling those, getting the resin, everywhere. Not a bad way to go. But you want to make sure that you're supporting the bottom. I don't really think that this plug is really going to go anywhere, but I also don't really want to find out. Now, actually, what I need to be doing is, what I like to do is have some sort of a base that I use, because when I pick it up, once this thing's full, then you got a real problem if you if you just pick it up and it dumps for some reason. You're going to be in trouble, So we got most of that in there already, right? There's a little bit more in our cup. I'm going to pour just a little bit more. And then what we're going to do here is we're just going to pour these guys out. Okay, like I said, very tiny amount. I really am going for minimalism here. Okay. Cool color combination, definitely. And actually, I think because I kind of poured this a little early, I think we can just possibly let that drop. I think that's good. Like it's sinking down in, and I think that we can kind of utilize that. I'm going to pour a little bit on top here in the middle, kind of lightly, and that'll kind of pull it down a little bit. You can also use the stick. See how it's moving it around though? But it kind of pulled some down in the middle, and then you can kind of add a little bit more to the sides if you wanted. So you can use resin, pour more resin on top to kind of move it around. Or you could use a stick. Let's see, I lost my stick. Can you guys see? Yeah. Or you can use a stick to kind of, like move it around. I don't want to do too much to it. And frankly, this is already kind of, I don't know that we're going to really be able to see a whole lot down in there. But that's fine. See how I dumped that and it kind of pulled it around? So lots of different things that you can do with this. It just kind of depends on when you pour some of this stuff. But looking on the side of this, depending on how this all kind of goes down in, we got a pretty good view on this side into it. A little bit more coverage on this side with these colors. And I'm looking on the outside. I don't see big air pockets or anything. I think I did good there. So at this point, we just need to pop it in the pressure pot. And we'll call it a day. So this is why I like having some sort of a thing. You can also put it on, another good one is just the rack. You can put, I don't want to mess with it right now, but I would actually put it on my rack. But you can also just kind of use in fact, I think I am going to put this on the rack. Much easier if you have a handle on top. It's been a while since I've done one of these. I forget how to do it. Then pop that guy down in the pressure pot. We're good to go. Let's see here. I'm going to switch to this view since I thought of it right now. So you don't have to look at my arm underneath that camera. And the way that I put the lid on, I'm going to take 2 clamps at a time and tighten them at the same time. That way you're putting kind of even pressure, kind of like when you're putting a spare tire on. It's not a good idea to do to crank one of them down and then go to the next one and do it around in a circle. You can kind of tighten a bend in your lid a little bit. So it's better to do 2 at a time. The other thing is if you don't have your pot secured to a tabletop or something, doing that you're actually putting opposing pressure, so it shouldn't spin around as much on you when you're trying to tighten it. Oh, get on there. All right, so again, 70 psi in the CA Technologies pot. I'm gonna wipe off my stick. I like to wipe these things off. Technically, you could let the resin set up on a plastic stick and then just pop it off later, but that's more work, I think. So I usually just clean this stuff off right away and then move on. And I also like to hit it with a little bit of acetone. You could also use denatured alcohol if you got that on hand, and just wipe off any residue that might be on there. Kind of waft it dry, and then you're good to go. Put this away. So, and then clean up, like I was saying, I'll use acetone. I like acetone better. Personally, that's what I use. It's a little bit harsher, and you got to be careful using these chemicals and stuff. But I like the acetone better because it dries faster. That's the main thing. It's a little bit stronger, I think, as well as kind of a solvent to cleaning these things up. So that's what I typically use. But I also use denatured alcohol on certain things that I don't want to. Like you really don't want to be using acetone on silicone molds. Because you could clean it with that, but it can damage deteriorate the silicone. So if you need to clean out a mold, that's when you would want to use the less harsh denatured alcohol. either one works good, but acetone's definitely a lot like a harsher chemical. So just be kind of warned about that. You do not want to be like huffing the fumes of either of those things. They are, be in a well ventilated area. Same goes with the resin, all that stuff. Just make sure you're staying safe in your shop. So I'm pretty excited to see how this thing turns out. Like I said, I kind of have an idea. I need to think about some stuff. So we have that, the big demo day, the live streaming, 24-hour thing. I have a pretty cool idea of a project, and I may maybe use that blank as part of it. I'm not sure. I need to kind of think about things, and I also need to do some experimenting on the lathe to see if everything will kind of work out for what I have in mind. But I'm pretty excited about that, and maybe I might use that blank, and we might be able to incorporate that into the live day. So it should be kind of fun. But I'll be pulling these guys tomorrow. Let's see, tomorrow's Saturday. Probably demold them live. Those seem to be, a lot of people have been liking those. No matter what I do, there's always somebody that's like, but you didn't cut them up, or like there's always more to do. But so we'll be able to just pop them out, and you can see the brick. That's for pen blanks. That's not the most exciting thing, but at least you'll see, how it turned out. And then we'll pop that one out of the pipe tomorrow as well. And then I'll cut up the blanks probably tomorrow after that stream, and then I'll post pics on. And I'm going to try and get, I always forget to post stuff in the community tab on YouTube. I'm horrible with social media. I always forget to do stuff. So I'm going to try and post pics there as well. So people that don't really want to go onto Facebook or Instagram can see that there. But I always post stuff on Instagram. So where's the music? There's no music. You might have come from, did you watch my streams on Twitch? I used to have music on that, but like YouTube does not let you do that kind of stuff. So no music anymore. Whitaker, how's it going? Whitaker's Workshop. How's it going, Eric? Welcome to the stream. Let's see. Number 37? Thanks, number 37. Oh, for likes, yeah. Thank you guys for liking. Big thank you to the people that, let's see, well, there's 3 of you guys, Chad, Melvin, and Frank for the super chats, for helping pick the colors. So that's all I'm going to do today. Like I said, I got a couple other things. I'm looking at the clock, and I kind of need to get back on, to work, But I'm testing something that hopefully it's a new product that Stainless Bottle Stoppers might be coming out with, and I'm doing some testing on it right now for them, and so hopefully that'll be coming out soon and I can share with you guys. It's a pretty cool thing that they came out with. Shh, don't tell them I said anything. But body slam the like button. I'll be like WWE. But yeah, so I need to get on that a little bit, and I got a lot of things that I'm planning right now. So there's lots of really interesting stuff. Unfortunately, I'm in the middle of planning a lot of it and waiting on supplies and waiting on tools and all kinds of stuff right now. But anyway, it was pretty fun doing these ones. These that little burl thing, it's actually right in my view, and so I'm always looking at that thing and going, oh, we need to cast that. So I'm glad that we got that done, and that banksia pod has been cut up in that box for a long time too. So pretty cool, pretty cool. See, Dragon's Gems, first time catching the stream. Nice. Well, welcome. I'm sorry that you kind of came at the end. I usually go a little bit longer. I try to do like a 3 to 5 kind of thing. Sometimes it'll go to 6, especially if I'm turning something and being really slow about it. But usually I go a little bit longer than this and do like 2 or 3 casting things on Fridays. And then on Wednesdays, we just do some sort of a turning project, usually one of the blanks that we made before. But today, like I said, got a couple of things that I need to get back to, so I'm going to have to cut it a little bit short, but it was pretty fun. So a big thank you again to the super chats and awesome colors. I can't wait to see how those things turn out. And then be looking for, I'll post it on, again, I'll try to remember on the YouTube community tab thing. I'll try to post, I'll probably post about, I don't know, 30 minutes or an hour before I'm going to go live, and we'll demold these. It'll be just a super fast, pull them out of the things. Here they are. All right, have a good one kind of thing. But it's kind of fun. I know it's kind of boring to be like, okay, we made it, and then goes in the pressure pot and we never get to see it. So I've been trying to do those on Saturday. So if you have time to come out on Saturday, do that, and I will see you there. Let's see, one more thing for folks that haven't, if you didn't see the beginning. So I gotta hit enter. Not this one, not this, let's see, what day is this? 14th? Yeah, so not tomorrow, obviously, but next Saturday, the 22nd, is going to be a big live virtual demonstration day. This was put on by Carl Jacobson and Jamie Page, and there are a slew of people. So basically the way this is going to work is it's going to start, Jamie Page is going to kick it off, and he's, for people that are in the US, I got to go back to these picture things and figure out what's going on. So for folks, I'm going to start with, for folks that are in the UK, it's going to start at 10 a.m. for you guys. Jamie Page is going to go live, and it's going to keep going until you reach Carl, which is, he'll be on at 1 to 2 a.m. For like UK time. For US people, in general, and this is Pacific time, Jamie's going on at 2 to 3 a.m. Our time, and then it'll keep going until 5 to 6 p.m. 5 p.m. is when Carl's going to do it, Pacific time. And so how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's 16 people that are going to be streaming for an hour. So it's like a marathon live streaming event, and it should be awesome. There's some amazing creators, some people that I don't really actually know yet, and so I'm excited to kind of see what they do. I think there's some pottery, I think it is what I'm not sure, 100% sure, but there's pottery, quite a bit of turning. Let's see here, I'm just looking at the list. Lots of turning, very heavily turning. There's also carving. And I think like pottery stuff. So that was one that I'm not familiar with. So, but it should be awesome. I hope that you can join the fun. So it'll be next Saturday, the 22nd. Like I said, it'll be starting like at 2 a.m., you know, for everybody in the US, and then going till 5. I'm going to be doing my demo at 3 p.m. So it'll be the same time I usually do live streams. And the way this works, it's going to be on every single creator's channel. They'll just go live on their channel and then kind of pass it off to the next person. So you'll kind of flip around, meet some new people possibly, see a lot of really cool projects. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for my demo yet. It's not going to be resin casting this time. I'm going to be turning something. I'm not 100% sure what that's going to be yet. I'm still figuring it out, but I got something that might be really fun in mind. Like I said, I got to do a little bit of testing, experimenting to make sure that I can actually pull it off in an hour for a live stream for you guys. So it should be pretty fun. I hope that you guys can make it out, at least come out for some stuff. I'm going to be kind of poking around. Obviously, I'm not going to stay up for 24 hours, but I'll be poking around at some of the different ones throughout the day. I'll be in their chat room, so it'll be kind of fun for me to be on the opposite side of the camera, basically hanging out with you guys in the chat. But last time we did it, if you missed it, the last one that we did was amazing. It was so much fun, and so keep your Saturday the 22nd open, because we're going to have lots of fun doing some live streams. So anyway, guys, I think that's about it. Let me just double check and make sure I'm not missing anybody's big questions. Don't think so. I think everybody's I was wrapping stuff up. Yeah, sorry, Dragon's Gem. But you can watch right when this is over. You can go back and watch from the beginning if you want to see everything. It was kind of a quick one today. And I kind of fumbled around at the beginning talking about different stuff, so you can kind of skip around. I know a lot of people don't really want to watch an hour and a half, 2 hour, 3 hour replay. But what I like to do, what I recommend you guys do, is actually just like ramp it up to like 1.5 or 2 on the speed of the video, and then you can kind of skip around. Like if I'm just talking and waiting, doing nothing, skip forward to the good stuff, and so you can kind of skim it and check out the replays. That's what I would recommend if you don't want to watch the whole thing. But if you want to just enjoy it, they're there for you guys to watch the whole thing. So anyway, guys, I think we will wrap it up. It's about, like I said, it's not dinner time for me, but it's almost, I need to get this stuff done, and then it'll be dinner time. So I appreciate all you guys joining the fun tonight. We will see what the results are tomorrow, so come back. It'll probably be somewhere like around noon Pacific time, something like that, I'll fire it back up. We'll demold these guys and see the results. So I hope you guys have a wonderful evening tonight, and I will see you guys all tomorrow for the demolding.